Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta ओम ज्ञानातिमिन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यनामस्तम् स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Harite Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Shri Padaya Krishna Prasthani Kili Prabhupada Kriya Shri Giriraja Sami Shri Hamid Divyas Shakradam Krishna Padaya Krishna Prasthani Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Sri Saraswati Devi Nirvishesha Shunyavati Mukham Karoti Vacharam Pangumulam Gayate Gidimukta Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Devatam Hare Krishna. So we are continuing this reading and study of Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 7. So this is Lord Chaitanya and 5 features. I think this is the most interesting of all the chapters. This chapter 7, Lord Chaitanya in 5 features. And so we on text 111. 111. Right? Shabde Mukhyarthe Kahe Bhagavan Chidaishwarya Paripurna Anurva Saman. So let's look what was happening in the previous verse. Right? So this is Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who met with Prakashananda Saraswati, who is the leader of the Mayavadi sannyasis. And so the Mayavadi sannyasi, they reproached Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why don't you study Vedanta? What's wrong with studying Vedanta? So then Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, we do study Vedanta. And would you like to hear what is Vedanta from us, from our line? So then he's starting to discuss what is Vedanta. Just to revise, because it's such a difficult section. So text 106, the Lord said, Vedanta philosophy consists of words spoken by the Supreme Personal Godhead, Narayan, in the form of Vyasadeva. The material defects of mistakes is illusion, cheating, and sensory inefficiency do not exist in the words of the Supreme Personal Godhead, meaning that Vedanta Sutra is coming directly from Narayan, who's free from defects. The absolute truth is described in the Upanishads and Brahma Sutra, but one must understand the verses are they are. That is the supreme glory in understanding. Then now, so Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is making the point that Shripad Shankaracharya has described all the Vedic literatures in terms of indirect meanings, gona vritti. One who hears such explanations is ruined. Tahara Shravane Nashahai Sarvakarya. He's ruined. Then he said, but so he defended Shankaracharya. He said that no, this is not Shankaracharya's fault. For it is under the order of the Supreme Person Godhead that he has covered the real purpose of the Vedas. So relax. We're not criticizing your Acharya. So he did it under instruction of the Supreme Lord himself for a purpose. The 111. Brahma Shabde Mukhyarthe Kahe Bhagavan Chidaishvarya Paripurna Anurva Samana. Brahma, the absolute truth, Shabde, by this word, Mukhya, direct, Arthe, meaning, Kahe, says, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personal Godhead, Chideshwarya, spiritual opulence, Paripurna, full of Anurdhva, unsurpassed by anyone, Samana, not equal by anyone. According to direct understanding, the absolute truth is the Supreme Person Godhead, who has all spiritual opulences. No one can be equal to or greater than him. So this statement by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is very famous, what Prabhupada is quoting here. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yad jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyati. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. And I'm going to ask a question. What is the meaning of non-dual? What is this duality and what is non-dual? This basic ABC knowledge. What is this non-dual? Advayam.
Mataji, does it mean that it is absolute? It does not change. It is not relative.
What is it that doesn't change? What is it that's relative?
The absolute truth. Bhagavan does not change. He is the absolute.
So what is it in him that doesn't change? Non-dual. Whereas we are dual, we are two, right? So what is it that we are dual and that absolute truth is non-dual? What is it?
Brahman Paramatma.
We are material and spiritual also. The super soul is the spirit, and the soul is spirit, and the body is material, right?
Yes, correct.
And the absolute truth is only spiritual.
Yes. Okay, please make a note of this. Dual meaning that we have material body and spiritual body both. Non-dual means that absolute truth has no material body. It's only one substance, non-dual substance, Advayam, right? So that non-dual substance is realized, understood, perceived in three phases. Brahmaiti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan. All right? Brahman, Paramatma, and all Bhagavan. The absolute truth is ultimately understood as Bhagavan, partially understood as Paramatma, and vaguely understood as the impersonal Brahman, Bhagavan, or the Supreme Person Godhead is opulent in all excellence. No one can be equal to or greater than him. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.7. 7.7, which chapter is that? It's not
Absolute knowledge of the absolute.
so, meaning how do we know? Where the Lord says, Matta parantaram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. O conqueror of wealth, Arjun, there is no truth superior to me. There are many other verses which prove that the absolute truth in the ultimate sense is understood to be the Supreme Person, Godhead, Krishna. So, believe me, if Prabhupada didn't tell us, we will never have known. So, that's why we know that Krishna is the ultimate and Bhagavan is the ultimate. Otherwise, most of us knew about Brahman. We never knew about Paramatma. Yes, it was there, but what was very popular. As soon as you want to study philosophy, what is the popular philosophy that you know of is Brahman. Then text 112. Tanhara vibhuti deha sava chidakar chid vibhuti achadi tanre kahe nirakar. Everything about the Supreme Person Godhead is spiritual. Okay, here it is. Including his body, opulence, and paraphernalia. So meaning anything that's connected with the Supreme Lord is spiritual. So his body is opulent, meaning what he owns, and all the paraphernalia, his associates, etc. Mayavad philosophy, however, covering his spiritual opulence, advocates the theory of impersonalism. Purport. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachid Ananda Vigraha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna has a spiritual body which is full of knowledge, eternity, and bliss. In this material world, everyone's body is just the opposite. Temporary, asat, full of ignorance, achit, full of misery, nirananda. Therefore, when the Supreme Person Godhead is sometimes described as nirakar, this is to indicate that he doesn't have a material body like us. So let's look at the word-to-word translation. Tanhara, he is the Supreme Person of Godhead. Vibhuti, spiritual power. Deha, body. Sabha, everything. Chid akar, spiritual form. Chid vibhuti, spiritual opulence. Achadi, covering Tandre him. Kahe, says nirakar, without form. Actually, we are all familiar with all this because Prabhupada has written so much about it in many places, in Bhagavatam specifically, Bhagavad Gita also. But now we are finding, see, actually Prabhupada's writing, his purports, they're simply like a, what do you call this, a paraphrasing of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Already we are discovering. Prabhupada didn't write something from imagination. All his purports, they're actually paraphrasing different sections of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, but here we are finding the original verses from where Prabhupada took the information. So it's very interesting for us. Okay, so now we are going to define this nirakar. Mayavadi philosophers do not know how it is that the Supreme Person Godhead is formless. The Supreme Lord does not have a form like ours, but has a spiritual form. Not knowing this, Mayavadi philosophers simply advocate the one-sided view that the Supreme Godhead of Brahman is formless. In this connection, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur offers many quotes from the Vedic literature. If one accepts the real or direct meaning of these Vedic statements, one can understand that the Supreme Person Godhead has a spiritual body. So we come again to this, how actually the material body doesn't have a fixed shape, right? Somebody was saying this. that is changing. Okay, this non-dual, right? It's changing, whereas Krishna's form is fixed. Very easy to understand. If you look at a child's body, right? And if, I don't know whether it's possible to look at the same person when he becomes an old man or an old woman. 100% the akar is completely different, isn't it? 100%. It's just a complete contrast, right? From birth, a small, I don't know how many centimeter baby, right? To the next body, to the next body, to the next. You know, the beauty, 16 is supposed to be the most beautiful. 16 till 20, and then 20, 25 goes down, 30 start to go down, right? Really goes down. Very interesting to watch the bodies changing. Why? What is changing? The akar, all right? So that everybody knows that the soul is remaining same. So therefore, you know, constantly that this is the same person, meaning that actually the body is nirakar, all right? Because it's changing. It doesn't have a fixed akar, it's nirakar. So, so you could say that this term nirakar is applying to the soul, because the soul is not changing, whereas the body is changing. Is it okay? Do you understand this? All right.
But the Acha Vigraha, right? It's marble, wood, whatever. It's material, but at the same time, it is spiritual, right?
And actually, every devotee knows that how the deity before installation and the deity after installation, they are different. Right? Every devotee knows this. So when the deity is carved, like I even notice, you know, even with my own deity, like if somehow I have to give him for painting, you know, if he's painted, then I will see him become manifest again. It's something we don't understand. You know, like first day, like I will feel disturbed. And then after that, I'll see it, he becomes manifest again. So it's not material. In the Brihat Aranyak Upanishad 5.11, it is said, Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate. This indicates that the body of the Supreme Person Godhead is spiritual. For even though he expands in many ways, he remains the same. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, this is also Shishopanishad, right? Purnamada Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Udachyate. This indicates that the body of the Supreme Person Godhead is spiritual. For even though he expands in many ways, he remains the same. How does he expand? Supreme Lord expands in many ways. In which ways does he expand?
His incarnations,
Paramatma. Paramatma.
his expansion.
Expansion, yeah. Amrita Radhe, yes, tell me.
In the form of Paramatma, who is residing in every atom as well as in the heart of all living entities.
Yes, and also from Shishopanishad, this is a basic book. So he will also manifest the phenomenal worlds. This is himself. he also manifests the jivas. So this is also him. So he expands himself. So whether it is personal expansions or separated expansions, but his body remains same. In the Bhagavad Gita 10.8, the Lord said, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. I'm the origin of all. Everything emanates from me. So meaning the material world and the spiritual world, everything is coming from the Supreme Lord. Mayavadi philosophers materialistically think that if the Supreme Truth expands himself in everything, he must lose his original form. All right. So, according to this verse, Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam, the Supreme Lord expands himself, but he remains unchanged. Whereas the Mayavadi say, no, when the Supreme Truth expands himself in everything, he must lose his original form. Thus, they think that there cannot be any form other than the expansive, gigantic body of the Lord, meaning this universal form. But the Brihad Aranyak Upanishad confirms, Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachati. Although he expands in many ways, he keeps his original personality. His original spiritual body remains as it is. See, all this, it's not possible for us, like if somebody put forward an argument like this. It's not possible for you and me or anybody else to counteract these. These ideas, these philosophies can only be taught by he who knows. All right, so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's teaching us. And before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, other Acharyas, the Vaishnava Acharyas, they came and they defeated the philosophy of Mayavad. And it is required because otherwise we won't know which path to take. So it's very, very important because I think most of us who came to Krishna consciousness because we were interested in studying the books, in knowing the philosophy, we had to encounter all these, confused ideas, all these blurred ideas. So it has to be taught, all these philosophies. So we do need to take some time, to read through all this. But the main thing, for me at least, the main thing was that once I understood it, I never really bothered philosophy. Just like I was science student, So once I understood what is science and what is Krishna consciousness, I never bothered again about science because that was just not required for me. It was over. A phase, in my study about science. It was over, not required for me. So that's how it is for most people. Once you're convinced that Krishna is God, you go through everything, you argue everything, then you get convinced Krishna is God, then what should you do? How you should worship? You do it and that's it. You don't go back, again and again studying, all this philosophy and getting, but we have to do it because we're studying Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So why I'm saying all this, because most of us, we are followers, right? We have accepted Krishna and we are doing everything. But because maybe to remind ourselves, and because there are many new people who will have the same confusion, so therefore we have to study. Is it correct, what I'm saying? Do you agree? Correct? Okay, fine. So let's go through it, even though it's rocking our brains. All right. Although he expands in many ways, he keeps his original personality. His original spiritual body remains as it is. Similarly, elsewhere it is stated, Vichitra Shakti Purusha Puranaha. The Supreme Person Godhead, the original person, Purusha, has multifarious energies. And the Shvetashvatar Upanishad declares, Sa Vriksha Kalakriti Bhi Paronyo Yasmad Prapancha Parivartate Yam Dharma Vaham Papanudam Bhagesham. He is the origin of material creation, and it is due to him only that everything changes. He is the protector of religion and annihilator of all sinful activities. He is the master of all opulences. This is Shveta Upanishad 6.6. Vedaham etam purusham mahantam aditya varnam tamasa parastat. Now I understand the Supreme Person Godhead to be the greatest of the great. He is effulgent like the sun and is beyond this material world. Shveta, I forgot properly how we pronounce it. Upanishad 3.8. Patim Patinam Paramam Parastat. He is the master of all masters, the superior of all superiors. Shveta Upanishad 6.7. Mahan Prabhur Vai Purushaha. He is the supreme master and supreme person. So this is again from Shvetashvatar Upanishad 6.12. Parasya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. We can understand his opulence in different ways. Again, this is same Upanishad 6.8. Similarly, in the Rig Veda it is stated that Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashanti Surayaha. Vishnu is the supreme, and those who are actually learned think only of his lotus feet. In the Prashna Upanishad 6.3 it is said, Sa Iksham Chakre, he glanced over the material creation. In the Aitareya Upanishad 1.1.1 to 2 it is said, Sa Ekshata, he glanced over the material creation, and Sa Imalokan Ashrijata, he created this entire material world. Thus, many verses can be quoted from the Upanishad and Vedas, which prove that the Supreme Godhead is not impersonal. In the Kathopanishad 2.213, it is also said, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. He is the supreme eternally conscious person who maintains all other living entities. From all these Vedic references, one can understand that the absolute truth is a person and that no one can equal or excel him. Although there are many foolish Mayavadi philosophers who think that they are even greater than Krishna. Krishna is a Samurtva, no one is equal to or above him. As stated in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad 3.19. Apani Pado Javano Grahita. This verse describes the absolute truth as having no legs or hands. Although this is an impersonal description, it doesn't mean that the absolute personally Godhead has no form. He has a spiritual form that is distinct from the forms of matter. In this verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu clarifies this distinction. What did you get from all these quotations? What was the point? Why is Prabhupada giving so many quotations? What does he want to prove?
Mataji, what I understood is that in the Upanishad, sometimes it's mentioned that the Supreme Lord doesn't have hands or legs, but what Mahaprabhu is explaining is that indicates that he doesn't have material hands or legs, but he does have a form. But that form is a spiritual form. That is why you began by explaining what is Dvanda. So it's not a material form, but it's an absolute form, spiritual form.
Okay, correct. Now, why Srila Prabhupada quoting so many verses? What do you learn from these verses? What is it showing?
Shastra Pramanam.
Yes, tell me, Rashmi, what is it showing?
So by giving all these evidence from all these various scriptures, Prabhupada is proving the one point that Krishna is a person, and he is the supreme person, and he is everything about him is spiritual. His form, his activities is spiritual, eternal, and he is one without a second. But he's proving it through all of these.
Can you give an example?
Example of what, Mataji?
That he is the origin, that he has a form, right? Now we have quoted, we say through all these verses, Srila Prabhupada is proving that Krishna has a form. So can you take any from all these quotation, can you pick any one and show me how Prabhupada is showing that he has a form?
Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. Krishna is saying I, calling himself I.
Yes, aham, yes.
I,
Then,
me, person. I have an individuality. So aham sarvasya prabhavo. So he is the origin of everything. So this entire creation cannot come from nothing. It has come from something, and that person is aham, me.
yes.
That one. Then
Yeah, just like I create a table, right? I create a table. All right, so meaning I am going to take wood, I cut it into a shape, I put 4 legs, right? I made some decoration, right? Some like a certain sculpt in India, at least they're very artistic, right? So you create it, right? So I'm the origin of this entire existence, right? So I am the origin. So I am a person and I am manufacturing all this word. Yes? Yeah, anything else? But now you got an idea. Now I want you to examine each and everyone and show how Prabhupada is saying that this absolute truth is a person. Okay, now let's go one by one. So Rashmi picked this one. Anything else?
Mataji,
Yes.
in the quote from Rig Veda, Vishnu is the supreme, and those who are actually learned think only of his lotus feet.
Yes. 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 So that person, so he's a person and he has lotus feet. I love this. Tad Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashanti Surayo. The lotus feet, the Param Padam, the supreme, who's beyond actually this material world. Padam means lotus feet, yeah. Yeah, anything else? Everybody has to pick one verse now and tell me. Otherwise, no use. Yeah.
नित्यानां चेतनश्च चेतनानाम् एको बहुनां योग विधाति कामानि.
Yes, so what does that mean? Proving that absolute truth is a person. So what does that mean?
भगवान एक है लेकिन वह सारे जीवों के पालन करता है. मतलब हर
Yes.
जीव और हर पर्सन के अंदर वो परमात्मा के रूप में है और वो सभी का पालन करते हैं.
Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam.
वो नित्य है, मतलब शाश्वत है, और जीव भी शाश्वत है, सोल, एज ए सोल,
Okay,
और
now this is a
सारे
Prabhupada.
जीवों का पालन करते हैं.
Yes. And now this is a most frequently quoted verse of Prabhupada. Nityanam chetanas chetanam. Chetana means conscious. All right. All right.
Conscious.
So that one conscious person, there's one conscious person, and then there are so many other conscious beings. All right. There's one conscious person, and there are so many other conscious beings. There is one who is Nitya, who's eternal, and there are many others who are eternal. All right? So there are two. One conscious and then many conscious. One eternal and then many eternal. And what is he doing? Eko Bahunam. This one, Eko Bahunam. What's the meaning of Bahunam?
बहुत सारे.
Yes, so that one,
बहुत सारे. हाँ.
Yovidadhati Kamam, that one is satisfying the desires or maintaining the many. The one is maintaining the many. It has to be a person. Right? One is maintaining the many. He is the supreme, eternally conscious person who maintains all other living entities. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody else would like to tell us?
And then that famous Purnam Adam, Purnamidam, you know,
Yes,
he's
what does it say?
the original, and from him comes so many others.
Everything else. And now some example is given of what comes out from him. What which verse?
पाणी पादो जवनो ग्रहीता.
Is it? Just tell me the English so that I can find it.
श्वेताश्वतर उपनिषद 3.19, last paragraph.
Okay. Which one? 3 point? Oh, okay, 3.19. 1 minute. 3.19. Apani pado javano grahita. Yes. So, who is telling me this verse? Apani pado javano grahita. Who quoted this verse?
Sri Kala.
Okay, Shikha. Yeah. All right. So that we have already discussed. Anything more? We're not going to just let this go because there are too many important points in this. Okay, somebody else find more. That we already discussed. Find more.
Mataji, many quotations have been given from Shvetashvatara Upanishad indicating that the Supreme Lord, is a person, like Mahan Prabhur Vai Purusha. Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.7. He is the Supreme Master and Supreme Person.
Yeah.
Then there is indication of Parasya Shaktir Vividhai Shruyate, of
Yes.
how his opulences are distinct from him, or we can understand his opulences in different ways. So Shakti as well as Shaktiman.
Yes, correct. Okay, so this Om Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnam Udachate, meaning that from one person is coming so many different emanations. So the Shaktir is also one of his emanation, right? So these emanations, they are manifested in different ways, like we are his Shakti, material nature is his Shakti, Kala is his Shakti, there is Kala, his lila Shakti, so many things, right? Yog Maya, Mahamaya, these are all his Shaktis. So he's the possessor of this Shakti. So it's not that suddenly the Supreme Lord vanished because we exist. This is the Mayavad philosophy. All right? Just because the material creation came into existence, it doesn't mean that the origin of the origin of the creation disappears. You follow this? This is the Mayavad philosophy.
Krishna is among the spark, and one is equal or greater than it. So as many as Shaktis that manifest, all of them are subordinate.
Mm.
They can never be equal or above.
So then another one which I found, which I thought was very important. Everything is important, right?
Patinam paramam parastat.
Which one is it?
श्वेताश्वतर उपनिषद 3.8 पतिम पतिनाम परमम परस्तात, वे सारे स्वामियों के स्वामी हैं.
Yes.
तभी
Yes.
श्रेष्ठ
Yeah. Everybody knows when they have a master over their head, right? You know, he very much exists. He's definitely a person, right?
Mahaprabhu.
You know, Prabhupada gives the example of the government.
So
The
many.
government appears to be impersonal, but one day when the Prime Minister puts forward a law, then you start to feel, yes, government is not impersonal. 100%, there is a person behind it. Yes. Very good. Then I found this one. Oh, where is it now? I lost it. Huh? Yes. This one about Sir, where is it? Which 6.6, huh? 6.6. Savriksha kalakriti paronyo yasman prapancha parivartate yam dharmavaham papanudam bhagesham. He's the origin of material creation, and it is due to him only that everything changes. He's the protector of religion and annihilator of all sinful activities. He's the master of all opulence. Now, he's the annihilator of all sinful activities, right? Are we not concerned with this? Are we not very much eager to know that, yes, you know, there is a person who's looking at us, and if there is any sinful activity, then he takes care of it, right? Annihilator of sin, isn't it? Or is it all impersonal and automatic? Right? So actually, something I could say in India, you know, if you know somebody, pehchan hai, in one job, right? Koi pehchan hai, right? This is what we look for. Otherwise, you're in the crowd. Nobody knows you. You can't get your work done, right? So this is how the world runs. It runs with a person. You know, just like, I'm just giving this example, you know, like nowadays you want to do any room booking, everything is online, right? Online booking, everything online, and then that's how you get fed up on both sides. You can't get your booking done. Then I say, how do you get the booking? Through friends. How do you get your booking done? Through friends. You have to know somebody, then you get your booking done, right? How much can you be impersonal Brahman and online booking? We have this experience. It comes to the point of frustration. You need that one human being, right, who let you through. Yeah, so we can't just, the more and more we want everything impersonal. All right, so that was very interesting, right? This particular shloka. Let me see how big the next verse is. I think, okay, we'll just take it. 113. चिदानंदतेन होतन रास्थान परिवार. परिवार. चिदानंदतेन होतन रास्थान परिवार. तन तंद्रे कहे प्रकृत सत्वेरा विकार. The Supreme Person Godhead is full of spiritual potencies. Therefore, his body, his name, fame, and entourage are all spiritual. Sthan means his abode, his parivar, his entourage, meaning parivar. It is a Hindi word, right? Parivar. His family members, his relatives. I don't know why they translate like this. Are all spiritual. The Mayavadi philosopher, due to ignorance, say that these are all merely transformations of the material mode of goodness. Purpose. In the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personal Godhead, the Supreme Personal Godhead has classified his energy into 2 distinct divisions, namely Prakrita and Aprakrita, or Parashakti and Aparaprakriti. In the Vishnu Puran, the same distinction is made. The Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand these 2 Prakritis or natures, material and spiritual. But one is actually intelligent, can understand them. Considering the many varieties and activities in material nature, why should the Mayavadi philosophers deny the spiritual varieties of the spiritual world? The Bhagavatam 10.2.32 says, Yenye ravindaksha vimuktamaninas tvayasta bhavat avishuddha budhayaha. The intelligence of those who think themselves liberated but have no information of the spiritual world is not yet clear. In this verse, the term of Vishuddha Buddhaya refers to unclean intelligence. Shuddha means clean. Vishuddha means very clean. Or Vishuddha means the most unclean. Due to unclean intelligence or a poor fund of knowledge, the Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand the distinction between material and spiritual varieties. Therefore, they cannot even think of spiritual varieties because they take it for granted that all variety is material. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore explained this verse that Krishna, the Supreme Person Godhead or the Absolute Truth, has a spiritual body that is distinct from material bodies, and thus his name, abode, entourage, and qualities are all spiritual. The material mode of goodness has nothing to do with spiritual varieties. Mayavadi philosophers, however, cannot clearly understand spiritual varieties. Therefore, they imagine. Okay, so this is according to their imagination. See, their intelligence cannot go beyond a certain level. So what to do? So they have to adjust to what they are seeing. So therefore they imagine. So they imagine when you see Krishna, his Gopas, his Gopis, his father, mother, his abode. So they imagine that these are all transformation of the material mode of goodness. The material mode of goodness has nothing to do with spiritual varieties. Mayavadi philosophers, however, cannot clearly understand spiritual varieties. Therefore, they imagine a negation of the spiritual world to be the spiritual, of the material world to be the spiritual world. The material qualities of goodness, passion, and ignorance cannot act in the spiritual world, which is therefore called nirguna, as clearly indicated in Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, Trey Gunya Vishaya Veda Nesh Trey Gunya Bhavarjuna. The material world is a manifestation of the three modes of material nature. But one has to become free from these modes to come to the spiritual world, where the influence is completely absent. Now, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would dissociate Lord Shiva from Mayavad philosophy in the following verse. See how systematically Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is discussing with the Mayavadi philosophers. So, the Mayavadi philosophers saying that, okay, Krishna is a good person. This is what we mean by mode of goodness. He's a good person, he's dharmic, he has certain, so his family members are good, etc., mode of goodness. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that no, this is not only a transformation of the mode of goodness, that they are eternal. That form of Krishna that we are seeing, that we think is good, he exists beyond the mode of goodness. And his entourage, his abode, his name, fame, everything exists beyond this material manifestation. So what is the problem with the Mayavadis? Why is it that they can't figure that out? Prabhupada explain this paragraph. What is their problem?
Except that there can be variety.
They can't understand this variety. What is their problem?
Unclean intelligence.
What's that?
They think all variety is material.
Yeah, why do they think variety is material? That's the question.
It says, Prabhupada says here, because of their unclean intelligence or poor fund of knowledge.
The intelligence is unclean. So what's their unclean intelligence are not able to understand?
The envy in their heart.
Look at the paragraph. Read it again. In the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Person of Godhead has classified his energies into distinct divisions, namely Prakrita and Aprakrita, or Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. In the Vishnu Puran, the same distinction is made. The Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand these two Prakritis or natures, material and spiritual. But one who is actually intelligent can understand them. Considering the many varieties and activities in material nature, why should the Mayavadi philosophers deny the spiritual varieties of the spiritual world? So the Mayavadi has a problem because they think everything is one, and therefore they cannot see there are also the Prakriti, the Shaktis, because they're seeing only everything is one. So they are not able to see what's their problem. They are thinking that material nature one day will merge in the Brahman. Then they see that the Jiva will merge in Brahman. So everything is one. So they are not able to distinguish that there is Ishvara, there is Jiva, there is Prakriti. And then there are interactions among these three. They're seeing everything is one. So therefore for them, because even that Prakriti itself finally is something that become unmanifest. And when it becomes unmanifest, everything becomes one. Whereas the Vaishnava is saying that there is the Supreme Lord, and that's the whole series of verses that we have quoted in the previous text to show that there are more than one entity. There is one, and then there is Prakriti, the Shaktis, there is the Jiva, there's somebody who's taking care of our karma, somebody who's protecting us, somebody who's our master. Somebody who is always keeping an eye on us. He glances upon creation and he creates. He glances. Where's it? Ikshata. We missed that one. There's a beautiful one, right? Iksham. In the Prashna Upanishad, it is said, Sa Iksham Chakre. He glances over the material creation, right? So he's glancing. So it is the one, the Purusha, and the second one is Prakriti. So there are two. So Upanishad also is making the distinction between the glancer and the glanced upon. Inventing words here, English word. So somebody who is, what's that? Sa Iksham Chakre. Another way, somewhere else also it speaks about glanced. Sa Ekshata. Sa Ekshata. He glanced over the material creation. And Sa Iman Lokan Ikshata. No, Sa Iman Lokan Ashrijata. He created this entire material creation, meaning there's one and then there is two. Right? All right. So all these distinctions, we will really be in a very sorry state if we accept this Mayavad philosophy. Our suffering will be so intense because the devotee will feel totally unprotected, helpless and unprotected. He will feel that he or she will think that everything depends on my own endeavor. And everybody knows how weak we are, right? If there is nobody who will be merciful to us, because material life is such a chaos, so much suffering, right? Did we see anything here? Material life is so much unpredictable, so much suffering, that if everything only depends on me, I'm left alone to deal with this material creation, with all the calamities of this material world, right? So the soul will be very much depressed, lonely, suicidal. Actually, that's the idea. It's the suicidal idea that makes these jnanis look into the Vedic literature and they think, how can I commit suicide? Meaning I just disappear from any type of creation, any type of existence. That's the whole idea. So they say, let me just go to sleep forever. Suicidal. Yeah, so this is a very interesting section. As I said, before that, if we are convinced about all this, no need to go and study in depth. But if it's your service and you have to meet such type of people, then you need to study all this. Usually the ladies, they don't worry so much about all this. But those who are preachers who are sitting on the asasana, who are going and meeting all hardcore philosophers, then they need to know this very well. That's the huge advantage of just being simple Matajis, right? Tell us worship Krishna, we worship Krishna and bus, right? And we get all the benefit and we are happy, right? We're happy to be with our Krishna. All right, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
There we go. Okay, so we'll meet next week and we'll continue our, I have to say this, less intelligent, that we have to become most intelligent by reading Prabhupada's purports. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay.